Chapter 21, An Age of Extremes. It was a confident time in the United States as the 19th century became the 20th. For most people, life was good and would get even better. But Mark Twain said there was too much attention to money and gold and glitter. He called this turn of the century a gilded age. Some historians say it was an age of extremes. Why? Well, in America, it was a time of great riches, awful poverty, much hope, vast immigration, new factory jobs, and new big businesses called corporations. It was a time when railroads controlled much of America's wealth. Lumbermen cut down enormous forests. The Indian Wars ended badly for the Indians. The cattle drives were finished. Some cowboys became circus stars. Evil Jim Crow settled across all of the South. Business tycoons acted like emperors, and people filled the land until there was no more frontier. It was also the time when these things were invented or developed. Electric lights, telephones, moving pictures, record players, bicycles, horseless carriages, flying machines, skyscrapers, baseball and football leagues, and typewriters. More leisure time. The Gilded Age brought change not only for the rich and poor, but also for middle-class people. One thing the middle class got more of was time to enjoy themselves. City folk who had Sundays off could buy a train or trolley ticket and go to the country or to the beach. For the first time, vacations became part of the lives of ordinary people. And more, too. It was a time when most Americans still lived on farms, although cities were booming. It was a time when some women and people of color demanded to be treated as full citizens, and hardly anyone paid attention. When thousands of children worked from sun up to sun down, and a few people began to pay attention. It was a time when progressives and populists and reformers and business tycoons and working people all had strong opinions about how to make life better in America. It was a time when a lot of people enjoyed themselves. They had more leisure time than ever before. Some threw grand parties. Some played those new games, baseball and football. Some joined unions. Some joined social or church groups. Some got involved in politics. It was a time of prosperity and poverty, of corruption and idealism, and for almost everyone, a time of faith in the future. In other words, it was a very interesting time. Robber barons. Big businesses and corporations thrived in late 19th century America. Before, American business was found mostly in small workshops and foundries, but railroads helped change things. A big factory or a big farm makes sense only if your products can reach far markets. With railroads, they can. Some of the men who built the railroads became immensely wealthy. Cornelius Vanderbilt, who died in 1877, was the richest of them all. He got things done, but he didn't care about playing by the rules. Every time he could, he put his competition out of business. The New York Times called him a robber baron. He earned most of his money by getting favors from the government. The taxpayers ended up making Vanderbilt very rich. Not all of the 19th century's wealthy business people were robber barons. Some were more like our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, a successful businessman who also was a responsible citizen. You'll meet some of them later in this book.